Oh boy, an innings of contrast, if you may say, because looking at the India innings, there were some people who stood up, there were some people who did not stand up. Luckily, today we saw two debutants. Everybody wanted them to be in the team, they got their wish. They wanted one more person in the team who kind of played a very middling kind of an innings. Yes, one seat is empty here. We are expecting Nikhil to join in the next 2-3 minutes. We hope he comes soon. But bottom line is, India have made 306 for 7 in the first ODI at Auckland against New Zealand. 50s from Shikhar Dhawan, Shubman Gill, Shreyas Iyer, take above 80. But Washington Sundar, what a blitz from Washi, and it ensured that India crossed 300 at a time when even 300 was simply looking a bit far. So Shikhar Dhawan once again showed that why he is one of the best players and why he is such a steady influence in this team. On a pitch that was slightly spongy, initially it was a flat deck with a bit of spongy bounce, but Shikhar Dhawan and Shubman Gill negotiated it very well. Dhawan found the boundary more often. Shubman used the boundary dimensions brilliantly and hit 3 sixes. The way how he tackled Mitchell Sandon, the way how he tackled the likes of Tim Southee, Matt Henry and Adam Milne ensured that New Zealand were under the pump very early. But that 124 run stand with Shubman Gill frustratingly scoring a 50 but getting out immediately and Shikhar Dhawan following suit ensured that India struggled a bit. Rishabh Pant promoted to was at number 5, but he failed. If you have to look at it, even Surya Kumar Yadav today had a rare failure. Remember, Surya has been one of your prime players in T20Is. He's enjoyed a phenomenal T20I here, unlike anybody. But ODI form is somewhat middling, and that is why we have to reserve our judgment on Surya when it comes to the ODI format. But simply stunning was the way how Shreyas Iyer managed to negotiate all his demons and managed to get a brilliant 50. Sanju Samson. Okay, what do we say about Sanju Samson's knock? 36 of 38. Okay, fine. He built that partnership which was very crucial in ensuring Washington Sundar got that blitz. And finally, India crossed 300. So credit to Sanju Samson for the way how he built that partnership. Some very attractive shots in that. But a knock of 36 of 38 is reminiscent of what Sanju Samson has been. Brilliant, but yet he could not sustain his brilliance. Credit where it should be due though. Sanju Samson managed to ensure that India were not totally off the hook. Why I will say this? Because India lost wickets in clusters. Dhawan and Shubman Gill went pretty quickly. Rishabh Pant and Surya Kumar Yadav went quickly. It was left to Iyer and Samson to ensure that they finally got to a good total. The partnership helped, by the way. Can you just open the scorecard? I just want to look at the partnership. So, from being, just go down a bit. Yeah. So, from 160 for 4, they managed to reach 254 for 5. And the scoring rate was also pretty decent. In 13 overs, they managed a partnership of 94 runs, scoring at close to 7 runs per over. So, Iyer and Sanju Samson, with Sanju Samson batting with a slightly lesser intensity, Iyer was taking the attack to the bowlers. And the short ball tactic may have worked, may not have worked. Probably New Zealand did not exploit the short ball tactics to the hilt. Why? Because the short boundaries in Auckland. Remember, Shubman Gill played a periscope ramp shot to a short ball. That probably set the tone that going short on this wicket is not ideal. That is the main reason why New Zealand did not go full out and target Iyer with that short pitch ball. Sanju Samson, on the other hand, struck some attractive shots, especially to the leg side. And he also used the pace pretty well. One, if you may say, that late dab that he had to third man simply showed his game sense, which was good. He knew that the gap was there. He knew that perhaps if he just gets it past that circle, it's a boundary, because the third man boundary in Auckland is just 45 meters. That is the way that we have to look at it. So, contrasting fortunes, if you may say, for Shreyas Iyer, Sanju Samson, Rishabh Pant, Surya Kumar Yadav. Okay, Dhanushal, I will hold on to that point a bit. Dhanushal is saying Sky T20 specialist, Shreyas ODI specialist. Okay, now today this was a classic case of how fortunes do reverse in a big way. Rishabh Pant was playing his first ODI ever since that 125 that he hit against England in Old Trafford. But once again, he threw his wicket away. He just dragged the ball back onto the stumps and he was out for 15. Do you persist with Rishabh Pant? That is the main question. Because remember, this is just the B team that is playing. The A team, the likes of KL Rahul, the likes of Rohit Sharma, the likes of Virat Kohli, and here we have Nikhil. They will be back. So, does Rishabh Pant get a longer rope? And what about Sanju Samson? As I had mentioned at the start, and Nikhil will add his analysis also in it, a frustrating enigma. It could have been so much better. Sanju Samson. He was good. The shots that he played, the partnership that he had with Shreyas Iyer. But yet again, 36 of 38. No, you feel early, that you wanted much more from him.
No, but too early. I was just playing the first game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so should we be judging whoever has played with just based on this one game? Maybe not. And I think the best time to judge Sanju Samson or whatever, Washington Sundar, Shreyas Iyer, everyone, or even Shikhar Dhawan for that matter, would be end of the series. Today, I think the two people that were under greater scrutiny, more than even a Sanju Samson, because Sanju has got a lot of push. Also because some people feel that he's been unfairly left out. So he's got a good amount of push from people. So I don't think he will come under scrutiny so early. The ones that were under tremendous pressure, Shikhar Dhawan and Shreyas Iyer.
Yes.
Because had they not performed, then knives were out. And probably this is something that we were discussing. Everyone was saying take Shreyas Iyer out of the 11. But what we forgot is that Shreyas, and we discussed at the start also, that Shreyas's ODI record has been outstanding.
Yep.
How can you leave him out of the 11? And to be fair to Shreyas also, even in the T20, because we are mixing format, even in T20, he was there and thereabouts of making that squad for the T20 World Cup. He must have felt, rather unfortunate that, I missed out on that day. It could have been either way between him, Huda, whoever made that squad. So he was very close, and he's been in the scheme of things for some time now. So when he was left out, I'm sure it must have hurt him. I am sure, like many others, he would have his eyes set on the ODI World Cup. And I know this for a fact that Rahul Dravid and the likes had a conversation with him that why he was left out. So now he had to prove. So you take out his ODI record, it's good. Today, by the way, Shreyas Iyer's innings, if you look at it closely, they were quick bowlers.
Yes.
Lockie Ferguson, Matt Henry. Did they bowl short pitch deliveries to him? They did.
They did.
Did he find a way to score of them? Yes, he did. So is what I'm saying. How does he find a way to overcome his weakness? Either there are two ways. Either he learns, which we discussed at the start, either he learns to let go of those deliveries and find the other 5 balls to score, or he finds a way to score against them. In T20, maybe you have no option, but you have to find a way to score against them. ODI allows you that option.
Yes.
And what did he do today? But interesting to see that he also found a way to be scoring against those short pitch deliveries. Yep. So Shreyas Iyer's knock, I think...
and probably the small boundary dimensions also gave him confidence.
Yeah, but I'm guessing like some of the shots that he hit would have been 6 on Indian grounds also. Yes. So I'm saying you are looking at grounds India size. Now there's no more Australia that you're going to be playing. So what is your focus? Your focus is the ODI World Cup, which is going to be played in India.
Yes.
So I'm sure he's looking at that. And he's got 2 runs. And Shikhar has got 2 runs. 2 guys who are under great scrutiny. By the way, the third guy who's played a blinder of a knock is Washington Sundar, the one who's taken you. By the way, even his place in the 11 wasn't certain, because if we were making the 11 yesterday, we said maybe look at a Deepak Hooda. Why? Because he's a better batsman. Okay. My point is, what Washington did today, 37 of 16, would have done any better? Maybe, maybe not. And I don't think you'd have done any better than this.
Yes.
Probably worse, yes, but maybe not better this. I mean, this is an outstanding knock. Plus what we forget is Washington brings you that left-hander into the 11. And see, remember I discussed with you that they'll get Rishabh when Shikhar falls.
Yes.
So that's what they did. They want that left hand, right hand. And then to have one like Washington Sundar. By the way, this whole talk of Washington being a bowling all-rounder also may not be true, because if you remember, an IPL bats at number 3 sometimes.
And he's got a 96 in a test match.
Test match. And bats at number 3 in shorter format. Today the way he played clearly looked like no bowling all-rounder. Can I be very honest? I sometimes don't get too much confidence with his bowling.
Yes.
To be fair, as much as I get with his batting, the way he's been batting.
But Washington made his mark by bowling in the power plays in Rohit Sharma's captaincy also.
Yes.
Although that bowling has tapered off a bit, because injuries at the wrong time, split webbing, coronavirus, then another shoulder injury has ensured that perhaps it will take time for his bowling to recover. He also had no clarity in the later years. Where will he bowl? Because he was primarily a power play bowler. Do I bowl in the middle overs now in ODIs? Perhaps that role has been given to him now.
No, but you have to get used to as a bowler, right? To bowl anywhere. I mean,
maybe that takes time.
You may. I'm saying let's take for example, Bhuvneshwar Kumar may be good with the new ball, right? But in a one-day game, forget a T20. In a one-day game, he got 10 overs. He has to find he can't be, finding an excuse that I can't bowl in the middle over, or I can't bowl in the death. Somewhere or the other, yes. Predominantly, they'll bowl you up front with the new ball because you're a bowler who swings the ball great. Yes. But then you have to find different, ways to adapt to the middle overs and then go back to the later overs. So he'll have to. So Washington himself will have to find way. I'm saying, but his batting today, I was listening to it after the knock that he played. See, because if he hadn't played that knock, you were looking at a below 300 target, right? He played that knock. Again, as I said, if it was not him, maybe someone else would have. Someone has to play a bat. He was saying something that, he has been working on his batting. I heard his interview, said working, and he says he also plans his shot. So he says that, he's this. So I'm saying, this is why it is very interesting. You heard from Surya Kumar Yadav.
Yep.
Talking about this planning of shots when the bowler is at the top of his run-up, he's thinking, he's looking the field. Today, why I'm impressed with Surya Kumar, with Washington Sundar, by the way, you see what he was doing.
Yes.
You pull a fine leg in, he's going to hit you there. You were changing the field. If you got a deep square leg, you bring them in, he was going to. So every time the bowling side was making change to the field, after every ball, he was finding a way to middle the ball that side. Who does this best? His name is Surya Kumar Yadav. Yep. It's in fact, while watching him on the ground, I used to watch him at the World Cup and at the Asia Cup, because sometimes when you're watching on TV, you can't see the full changes in the field. But in the field, when you're watching it on the ground, you can see, okay, so the captain has asked this fielder to come in, let's say, third man to come in. Sure enough, the next ball he'll try and hit there. He'll try, okay, I'll bring the long off in,
yes,
and take the fielder in the square away. He'll hit you there. So Surya Kumar Yadav does that brilliantly. Today, exactly like Washington was doing. And then, see, that's what I'm saying, the coincidence. What is common between both of them? He batted just like Sky does. I'm not comparing now Washington as good as Sky, no. And Sky didn't have a great day, that's another thing. But he's very good in T20. Not comparing the two. But there is a process, and there seems to be a template developing amongst good white ball batters. And what is that template which Sky was showing us? That he sometimes premeditates his shots, thinks of 2-3 shots, looks at the field, where to think. So placement of the ball is much more important than brute power. I think that is what Sky showed. And that's exactly what I saw in Washington Sundar today. His placement of the ball. So, and funny enough, when he was playing, you thought, oh, he's doing a Sky. When he comes off the field, when he does this interview, he says exactly the same things. He says, I have a program. When the bowler is at the top of his run-up, I am thinking of those 2 or 3 shots that I'm going to play, kind of premeditated, though he leaves a room there to innovate also, because the ball may not be exactly to where he's premeditating.
Yes.
He leaves that room. So exactly the same thought process that we heard from Surya Kumar Yadav with Washington Sundar. So good on Washi. I think Washi is realizing that the fight for this position is so tough in the Indian camp that I have to be not just what we keep discussing, bowling all-rounder. Maybe you sit and, let's say if the fight is between Deepak Hooda and Washington Sundar, and if yesterday you're picking the team, we say, oh, Hooda better batsman. Maybe after a couple of these knocks, you say, no boss.
Yeah.
Batsmen both are equal. Maybe Washi a better bowler. So Washi comes in. He's realized that.
Yep. I mean, like the template you said, those two shots, wide Yorker that Milne was trying to bowl, full toss, scooped it, fine leg. Henry tried, slammed it over deep mid wicket. Sixes.
Yeah.
That's the program with which he's referring to, and that's what you pointed it out in that way. So, imagine that kind of finish if you can get.
Yep.
And that too on slower conditions in India. Makes a big difference of 20-30 runs at the end of the day. And Sundar, remember, off spinner. Left-handers, he can take the ball away.
Yeah. So, which is why I said they will have to play one off spinner.
They will have to,
We were thinking it could be Deepak Hooda, but they have gone with Washington. I think the better bowler amongst the two.
Yep.
I mean, at the moment at least, in the number of games that they've played. But tell me, you reckon 306 is what India got?
Yes, 306.
You had picked 320?
I had picked 335. Yeah,
35. Sorry.
Yeah.
I picked 50.
Yes.
350.
I think, the problem is in New Zealand, in the last series that was played, 2 out of the 3 games, they chased that total.
New Zealand.
Yes, New Zealand chased that total.
I said 350.
And the problem
But you were telling me something about Auckland. What happened in Auckland? So tell me this ground specific.
In Auckland, what happened was the last time they played was a low scoring game. India didn't chase that total of 250.
No, but I'm saying.
And if you have to look at it, the last time 337 was chased was 15 years back.
Oh, interesting there.
McCullum hit 50 or 24. Oram smashed 50s.
Yeah. No, but look at the current thing. This is, I think, a telling stat. If you want to know whether 306 is enough or not, only once has a 300 plus target been successfully chased down in ODIs in Auckland.
Yep.
And that happened, that was 337 that New Zealand chased, and that happened versus Australia way back in 2007.
Yes.
But since 2007 to now, nobody has been able to chase 300 plus. That makes India
favorites, absolutely. And you remember one more game in Auckland in 2017, same 306, 307. Marcus Stoinis was going bang bang, 146. Yeah. But it took Kane Williamson's genius captaincy to ensure that Australia fell short by 6 runs. He placed silly mid-on in the death overs. Stoinis hit it there, the Hazelwood was out of the crease, back flick, gone. Now it needs, but the problem in this current New Zealand team is that Williamson's not firing. In that previous series, Williamson was.
You want to take a punt? I say, even though the India's got 300, if you had asked India at the toss, take this, will they have taken it? Yes, they would have definitely taken it 300 plus. Stats are showing nobody's been able to chase 300 since 2007 in all ODIs in Auckland. Clearly, India the favorite right now. I'm going to take a punt though, against conventional thinking. I think New Zealand's going to run India very close.
Very close.
They could even cross the line. But they're going to run India close. And I base that on few things. One is a smaller ground, but then people will say the small ground always existed for the other games also, and yet nobody was able to chase it down. But I think smaller ground wasn't doing too much for the bowlers. The pitch, it's a fresh drop-in pitch. And I think ODI setup Williamson you talk about kind of suits him slightly better. So if he can be that anchor through the inning and everyone bats around him, they could run that close. And what I'm a bit worried about, you have 2 debutants. Yes, Arshdeep has been good in T20, but a debutant at the ODI level.
Yeah.
Umran, I'm very excited to see him, but we don't know how
he's just raw.
Shardul could have any day, a good day, bad day, we don't know.
Yep.
Washington Sundar, not the biggest turner of the ball, we don't know what is going to happen. Yuzi Chahal had a good T20I, not a great second T20I.
Yes.
And India have only gone in with 5 bowlers. So clearly they're going to be targeting 1 or 2 bowlers, New Zealand for sure, the weaker leg. Maybe that could be Washington Sundar, the weaker out of
Could be Umran.
So all of those put together, I'm going to take a gamble and say that New Zealand is going to run this target very close. Very different to what stats are saying. Maybe they'll cross the line as well. So may not be enough.
The problem, I think, where India were, if we say 15-20 runs short, they lost 2 2 bursts of 2 wickets very quickly.
Yeah.
Dhawan and
Happen.
Shubman.
But that will happen in a game, right?
Yeah.
You'll get good phases, bad phases. I'm saying the good thing for India is that after that they didn't have a collapse.
They didn't have a collapse.
So they found a way to get back.
Yep.
And in a game, you will have phases where you'll get 2-3 overs of 13-15 runs, which is good. Then you'll get 2-3 overs where you'll lose a wicket or two back to back.
But the best part is the Sanju and Shreyas Iyer partnership, they were going at 7 runs per over. So the intensity was maintained. And the last 5 overs, 58 runs. So that could give them a buffer if needed to be. But
they got 90 odd in the last 10.
Yeah,
with 50 odd in the last
58 in the last 5 overs.
5 overs, yeah.
But again, Umran's pace, and you've seen how pacers get tonged around in.
Personally, I want him to do well because I would be so happy. I'll tell you why. If he doesn't do well, all the criticism will be like, see, pace doesn't really work. I really want a genuine pacer in the team. If he does well, only then he stays.
I mean, apart from Varun Aaron, when was the last time we had a sustained 150 plus bowler?
Sustained, yeah. I mean, there was a time that Bumrah was touching 150 or Siraj would touch 150. I mean,
but not on a consistent.
Umesh would touch
would
touch 150. They would be. Okay, let's take a few questions in order. So AR says that India should have gone with Chahar over Thakur, better batsman and bowler. Also unpopular opinion, Washington is better batsman than bowler. AR, by the way, your second bit is not an unpopular opinion. We kind of agreed with that if you just saw our discussion. I think he's a better batsman. It's his bowling that sometimes doesn't fire, and as I said, he could be the guy that they target.
Yep.
But the good thing is a lot of left-handers, so maybe off-spinner might come in. So that's the first bit. The other is saying Chahar. I also agree. The reason they may not have gone with Chahar, maybe coming back of an injury and maybe not if they're not 100% fit. But I agree that Chahar. In fact, I would have played both Chahar and Shardul and had 4 fast bowlers in my team. At least that was my.
But Chahar's position was the same as how it was in the Zimbabwe series. Came off an injury, played the ODI, looked okay, got swing, took wickets, but again got rested. And
got injured.
Again got injured. Yes.
So I'm saying, I don't know, maybe this time they're a bit more careful till he's 100% fit. Yep. Other one, yes please.
Yep.
Kya ho gaya? Okay. Hariharan Vishwanathan says, yesterday Vic Nick were thinking of replacing Iyer with Sanju in 11. Just like Sky is MVP in T20, Iyer is MVP in ODI, 650s in 8 innings. By the way, Hariharan, please go and see our program. In our 11, we have got Shreyas Iyer there. Please go and see that. But if you're going to expect us not to have debate about any position, that's then we might as well just come, write the 11 and say bye-bye. The whole point of a discussion is to look at all options. So we look at all options, plus and minuses, then pick an 11. And the 11 that we picked, please go and see the last 11 we picked. There's Shreyas Iyer in that 11. But if you expect us not to even have a debate over positions, and it's not that one position we had debate over. We had debate over Deepak Uda, debate over fast bowlers, debate over openers, everyone.
There was a debate from position 6 to position 10 and the openers.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. When you make an 11, you're not. So people expect us not to even mention anybody. Just write the 11. Then how it's going to be, we start a program, write the 11 and say bye-bye, Madakam, and we leave. We're going to have a debate. But what is the end result? We had Iyer in our 11, right? The 11 that we made.
Yep.
And by the way, just go back and see the program. Exactly what I had said in that. I have said that he's been very good in ODIs. On what basis do you drop him? You have to give him a long run. If he continues to fail, then drop him. In fact, said that people talk about his short pitch delivery thing, but he's still got runs now, whichever way he's got it. So please see that.
Indeed. Mr. Shaker, morning, please talk on 154 dots. Critical in knockouts.
This is one thing I think the dot. What I'm saying is that when you reach bigger tournaments, that's what happens. Again, I feel like 306 is kind of a very safe at par kind of total. If you have to really, set the benchmark, really intimidate teams, you got to be playing with a lot more intensity. And what happens is you can't say, okay, now the bilateral series I play like this way or certain way and then suddenly I'll turn on the magic. Doesn't happen. Which is why I'm saying all these games you have to play with that intensity. Then it becomes a process. It becomes part of your, template or module that you follow. And then it's easy to replicate in big games like a World Cup semis or whatever. Suddenly you cannot change things. Yes. So I agree with that.
Shubham is saying Shreyas needs to be locked at 4. Don't need another Rayudu saga. Shreyas is too good for this format. His temperament is so good to soak pressure, keeping aside short ball. He has adaptability and determination.
I agree with him. But all I'm saying is that again, just as we should not, and I was in favor of that, just as we should not eliminate Iyer suddenly, we should also not give him a pen and paper and confirm his position. Because what you got to realize, and this will happen, once all your regulars return, that number 4 is also going to be tough. You know who all are going to be fighting for that middle order, one or few spots. They will be Iyer, there will be KL Rahul, there will be Suryakumar Yadav. So all of these people are going to be, and I'm not looking at the wicket keeper slot because yes, Pant is being there, but I think his fight is going to be more with Sanju Samson or whatever, because you'll need a wicket keeper, right? Yes. So I'm saying another batsman fit in there.
Yeah.
So this fight is going to be happening. So I think it's too early to even give him a slip for the World Cup, and it's too early to discard anybody. You'll have a lot of ODIs going forward, but I'm sure he's done no harm to his chances now with the knock that he's played.
Exactly. Roy SP is saying that's why I say it's Iyer's format. Initially there was some ego on the short ball, but post it a great innings. Hope Pant finds his form.
Yeah.
Pant, that is the one thing that we hope.
Yeah.
And Varun Parvatneni is saying, does tempo of Indian ODI cricket need to change after 40 overs? Today India went hard only after 46. If you're playing at 5.5 at the beginning, then 10-12 is a must for last 10 overs.
No, I think that was hampered by the fact that you lost those 2 wickets. And then you had, again, I don't know how much confidence India may have had in a Washington Sundar or a Shardul Thakur. That is why maybe they did not. It just so happened that Washington came and played that knock. But if he continues to do that, then maybe going forward, okay, he is there. So then the earlier batsman can also say, let me attack.
Yep.
The other thing is, which is why I said, if you had out a Deepak Chahar also, then you know that you've got batting till about 8,
Yes.
And then you say, okay, no, actually you would have batting till 9.
Yep.
So then you could just go out all out attacking, and that thing can come. Which is why I'm saying balance needs to be looked at. Plus the issue is, and you may like it or not, the issue is a lot of them are fighting for their spots.
Yeah.
That includes a Sanju, a Shreyas Iyer,
Surya.
So all of them are now saying, why should I now, try and hit from the first ball, get out? Everyone is going to be talking, he got no runs. So they're being slightly smart that let me get first 30, 40 a run a ball. I've got some base, then I'll go attacking. Everyone is taking that safer approach.
Yep.
And maybe the ODI format allows you to do that. So.
Yep. Yadu Vinayak, any reason why KL is rested in the series?
Yeah, I mean, he should have played, but maybe they are looking at a few youngsters to
Indeed.
And shall we wind up?
Yep, I think the New Zealand innings is about to start.
Yes.
Finn Allen will come with Devon Conway. And
I have picked my thing that it could be that New Zealand chase around. What about you?
Yep. I still think that blitz by Sundar has ensured India have a slight buffer. So I think India will win this, but it will be a close game. It will not be a very easy forward chase for them. It will be a pretty close game. Possibly a last over.
Oh,
last over.
Good game coming up. By the way, I kept thinking that ODIs will be a bit of a pain to watch, but they were not quite.
Today it was quite intense. Okay, when you just was about to get warmed up, this fell a new twist. Yeah.
No, but also maybe it was interesting to watch because I think there are so many subplots that we're talking about. Subplots like, does Pant get runs? How is Sanju going to adapt? Shreyas Iyer, short ball, how is he going to... A lot of subplots. So I think all of that.
And also I think now, because November 13th was the last T20. Now T20s have no relevance. Maybe our mind's conditioned. Now ODIs are much more important heading into the World Cup now.
Correct.
So, and remember, this is a sequence of 6 ODIs that are going to play. 3 now, and from 4th December onwards, India, Bangladesh, where all our A stars will be back.
Yeah. So I think these guys are then auditioning for those few spots that they might get there. So tough on all
again. I think only 2 spots are up for grabs in that.
But even those 2, they're all competing. Tough on
4
them.
players for 2 spots.
Yeah, all of them.
Yep.
What is Vijay from US?
Yeah, favorite child Iyer. Nice position to bat, all format entry. Considering horses for courses in T20 at least, Samson could be considered. But again, Samson, I don't think in the T20 format finds a place that easily. In the ODIs, probably at number 5. If Rishabh Pant doesn't get form, then it's Sanju's position then. And he did well in that South Africa series, by the way. Almost got India over the line in that, I think it was the Hyderabad ODI, if I'm not.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Davis Cricket has an interesting point where he's saying, why do fans hate KL even if he's not playing?
Well, I am no Shane, but see, KL's the problem what we saw is, okay, against the smaller nations, if I can call them smaller nations, he does well. When there is not much of pressure, but when the pressure is high against a big nation, he fails. Simple reason, take out those 3 matches that he played in the 2021 T20 World Cup, take out the knocks that he played against the Zimbabwe and Bangladesh, his average against those big teams in major tournaments falls below 10. Now that is a very damning indictment of KL Rahul's talent, because he is supreme. He can be a superb all formats player. And by the way, he was the second Indian to get 100 in all 3 formats.
You have to watch him. When he bats in the net, he does look a class above.
Yeah.
Very talented. When he hits the sixes also, effortless.
You had mentioned, I think it was the Asia Cup, one effortless 6 went out of that academy and went to the other ground.
When you see him on the ground also, the sixes are effortless. You don't even realize, and then they travel so far. Amazing.
So
last you can take Varun.
Yes, Umran Malik versus Kane Williamson. His first who will win the battle? Okay, against my better judgment, I'll say Umran Malik wins this battle.
Ooh.
I would want Kane to do well.
I think Kane will.
Yeah, but
Anyway,
Umran.
Chalo, game has started.
Yep.
You take your leave. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye. We'll be back for the match
Bye-bye.
end.
See you.
Subscribe to Sports Today for all latest information.